Have you ever heard this president say one negative thing about white supremacists? Have you ever heard it? He wouldn't even condemn David Duke, for God's sake.
Well, you've got David Duke just joined. A bigot, a racist, a problem.
They've
been lying to you.
Person who I disavowed on numerous occasions over the years.
They've been lying to you.
I totally disavow the Ku Klux Klan. I totally disavow David Duke. I've been doing it now for 2 weeks. This is your
multiple occasions.
The 18th person that's asked me the question. How many times do I have to reject? I've rejected David Duke, rejected David Duke. I've rejected the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan. From the time I'm 5 years old, I rejected them. I have been
multiple
asked this
occasions.
question so many times. How many times do I have to reject or disavow?
And I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. Racism is evil. And those who cause violence in its name are criminals and thugs, including the KKK, neo-Nazis, white supremacists.
In one voice, our nation...
Wake up.
If it costs $50 trillion, as some of your colleagues have testified, to become carbon neutral by 2050, how much is that going to lower world temperatures?
So every country around the world needs to get its act together. Our emissions are about 13% of global emissions.
Yeah, but if you could answer my question, if we spend $50 trillion to become carbon neutral in the United States of America by 2050, you're the Deputy Secretary of Energy. Give me your estimate of how much that is going to reduce world temperatures.
So first of all, it's a net cost. It's what benefits we're having from getting our act together and reducing all of those climate benefits. We're seeing.
Let me ask again. Maybe I'm not being clear. If we spent $50 trillion to become carbon neutral by 2050 in the United States of America, how much is that going to reduce world temperatures?
This is a global problem, so we need to reduce our emissions and we need to do everything we can.
How much, if we do our part, is it going to reduce?
So we're 13% of global emissions.
You don't know, do you?
So we're 13% of
if
global.
You know, why won't you tell me?
If we went to zero, that would be 13%.
You don't know, do you? You just want us to spend $50 trillion, and you don't have the slightest idea whether it's going to reduce world temperatures. You're the Deputy Secretary of the Department of Energy, and you're advocating we spend trillions of dollars to seek carbon neutrality, and you can't, and this isn't your money and my money, it's taxpayer money, and you can't tell me how much it's going to lower world temperatures? If it costs $50 trillion, is some.
Ouch.
Yeah, I have a lot more videos I actually wanted to play, but I don't want to offend like our first guest coming up in just a few minutes. And some of it was pretty rough.
Oh, we'll have time.
But
we'll have time to be offensive later.
Yeah, we do have time to be offensive later. But welcome to another. It's Monday, right?
It is Monday.
Days. I don't even know what the hell day it is.
Well, you were at the ball game on Sunday.
I was at the ball game yesterday.
So now today's Monday.
Yeah, I sat in a loge.
How was that? That was probably nice.
It was very nice. It was very comfortable. Dave Mortosh got us the Fox 8 loge.
Wow, that was nice.
Because he does a lot of stuff, commercials and stuff, or programming on Fox 8.
Sure.
And so he got the Fox 8 loge, and as soon as we walked in, it was decked out with hot dogs, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Had like a chicken fingers or whatever.
Right. Do they still have the ice cream bar?
No. Macaroni and cheese, though. Little corn on the cob things, which are pretty tasty. Then, of course, they had like popcorn, chocolate-covered pretzels. But he was upset because the shrimp cocktail wasn't there.
Oh, my God. Should have left immediately.
Next thing you know, 2 things of shrimp cocktail showed up, big, huge plates. And then 10 minutes later, 2 more big, ginormous things of shrimp cocktail showed up. I mean, these things looked like they crawled out of the ocean yesterday. They were, like triple the size of any shrimp that I've ever seen.
Right.
And they were really, really good.
Nice.
And then they had like this skillet with like a cookie or something and brownie in it and stuff.
Okay.
I mean, which is totally not good for like a diabetic who already lost one leg.
Well, they could have had rice cakes for you. At least they didn't do that.
I told them by the end of the game, I'm going to have to leave the other leg here. It was not going to go well for me.
Well, the way they played last month, they could probably use another leg.
But I'll be honest with you, man. The weather was gorgeous.
Yeah, it was nice yesterday.
And I paid attention to probably 20% of the game. Just because, one, it really moves fast now with the stupid pitch clock thing. And
Yeah.
And then on top of that, man, when we're at the ballpark and the music is playing and you're sitting in those really comfy seats, especially in like the loge area, that swivel around and they lean back, and I could care less what the hell was going on with the baseball game.
That's right. I don't blame you. It's a nice time. I'm not for the clock, by the way.
Yeah.
I did see that the Indians finished a game at under 2 hours this week.
Guardians.
No, it isn't. It ain't to me. Okay. It'll never be to me. You can call it by its minor league name all you want. I'm sticking with Indians. But I saw that they finished a game at like 1 hour and 50 minutes.
Yeah, man, it really does move.
It moves fast. I know as a Padres fan, it still takes a little longer to finish, but
Peter Knabb, our gentleman who's trying to make it to all 162 games. I think he's been to whatever it is now, all of them up to the All-Star break. So good for him.
Yeah,
says legs are overrated.
Well, he might be right there.
So I texted him yesterday at the game.
Yeah,
and I posted something on Facebook saying I was there, and he goes, "Where are you sitting? I'll come by and say hi."
Okay.
And I said, "We're in a suite."
Okay.
He goes, "Well, how the hell did you pull that off?"
And why didn't you call me?
I tried to tell him that's how I roll. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, Peter. You know.
Too funny.
Peter gets better seats than me, anyways. What the hell are you talking about?
Well, he gets more anyway.
He gets more. He's behind home plate on the lower level. I mean, come on, Peter.
Yeah, he gets good seats. It's not much to complain about there.
Don't agree with cluster ammo. Makes us no better than him. What does that mean?
I have no idea. Did you play one of the clips was cluster ammo? Not that I heard.
I don't think so.
Whatever. Anyway, we're rolling. Let's roll.
All right, let's get to our first guest, because we got a lot of guests on today. Yeah. Who's coming up later?
We have Serena Talley from, she's formerly of the band Burning Witches. She's going to be in with her new release, Addicted to Color. And then the lead singer of The Babies, as well as Firefall. Remember those bands from the past?
Yes.
John Bazaha will be in a bit later to talk about, this just sounds weird, about the new Firefall album.
Oh, wow.
That band's been, when did they come out? The 60s? 70s, maybe? But they have a new album, and he's going to tell us all about it. So
I'm very excited to talk to Serena. I'm addicted to her.
Yes.
And her Instagram and everything else that goes on with her. So
yeah, she seems feisty.
Yeah. Let's get to our first guest, so Jeff Monreal. Monreal Funeral Home. How are you, my friend?
Good, Seth. How you guys doing?
Fantastic.
Good.
I met Jeff back at the John Rich concert.
Okay.
When I received the house that I'm currently living in. And that was one hell of a night, I'll tell you that, Jeff.
Yeah, that was my second concert. I was there the year before, and that's when I met Dave Mortosh, your good friend, and Travis Mills. So that's how I got hooked up with those guys from that evening.
And Travis is a great guy. I mean, Travis actually, out of nowhere, called me the other day. People don't know Travis Mills lost all 4 limbs in Afghanistan, and great guy. And he actually called me the other day just to see how I was doing. And
nice.
That's amazing. That's a good guy right there. And it was cool. That night was cool. It was great to meet you, and it was great event. Very cool.
Yeah, it was an honor to meet you, and I know how emotional that night was for you and your family, and was proud to be a part of it.
And then I got to go to the golf outing that you were having for Travis Mills, or with Travis Mills, and that was very, very cool. So now you're back with another golf outing. So let's get into that. Tell people what it's all about and when, where, and who's it benefiting, everything.
All right, great. So just a little backlog on the organization. So Jeff Monreal Funeral Home charity golf outing. I started 7 years ago. Previous to that, I ran a golf outing for the Kiwanis for 10 years, and then started this my own golf outing. every year we change where the money goes to a different nonprofit organization. Just a little backdrop on that. We started out with Camp Ho Me Dakota the first year, which is a camp for children with type 1 diabetes. The second year was for In Motion, which is for people who've been diagnosed with Parkinson's. Third year was for breast cancer. Fourth year was for, we went with a group out in Perry called Footprints for Autism. Fifth year was for Miracle League. And then last year was for the Travis Mills Foundation. This will be the 7th year, and it's I picked the Cleveland Ronald McDonald House, which is an organization that, for instance, this couple, Tia and Mickey Kozlovich, their son 30 years ago had open heart surgery, and they did not want to leave their son. And they said, we're not going anywhere. And then somebody from the Ronald McDonald House came over to him and said, hey, listen, we understand you can stay here, but we'd like to have you right connected to this building over at the Ronald McDonald House. You could stay there and then come back in the morning. And they haven't left there since. They've been there for 30 years. They're going to be our guest speakers at the charity golf outing. It's going to be on Friday, July 28th. It's in about 3 weeks here. And it's going to be at Manakiki Golf Course out in Willoughby Hills.
Excellent. Jeff, what is it about you, and especially now that you just went through that history, that continually sees the need and fulfills it to be so charitable? Is it the industry that you're in? Is it just your nature as a man? What is it that makes you not only, everybody says, yeah, I'd love to give to this or that. Not everybody does. What is it about you that makes you actively seek out charities and charitable events to be part of?
Yeah, that's a great question. Many years ago, one night I got on my knees and I was saying a prayer, and I don't typically yell out loud, but that particular evening I was a little fed up, and I asked God, I said, what do you want me to do next? Okay. What am I supposed to do here? And I asked for a sign, and a gentleman called me a few days later and said, hey, I think it's a good idea you start your own golf outing. Okay. And so that happened. And then once that happened, it was like every year, it's kind of like, it's usually tied into somebody. Like the first year, one of my best friends, his daughter has type 1 diabetes, and this camp was in bad shape. And I said, you know what, this would be a great opportunity to give back to Camp Ho Me Dakota. So there was a tie-in there. The second year, like I said, for Parkinson's, my wife's uncle has Parkinson's.
Okay.
Third year with breast cancer, my sister-in-law was fighting breast cancer. So every year it just seems like there's something connected. And I enjoy it. It's like, I really, and it's not just me. I can't take the credit. So I say it's like the golf outing groupies. These guys, right. No matter where we go to Fowler's Mill. We've been there for a few years. We went to St. Denis for a year. We went to Legend Lakes for a year. And now this will be our second year at Manakiki. And these guys pay $150 to golf 18 holes, right? Mm-hmm. And they're blue collar. Most of them are just blue collar guys, the kind of guys I want to hang out with,
Sure.
And then they, on top of that, usually sponsor a hole, which we put a little sign next to the tee box that says, in loving memory of maybe their dad or their mom, or maybe they own a business. And that's what it is. It's hundreds of people that are blue collar, and there's some bigger donors. I can't forget about them, but they'll donate $500, $1,000, $1,500. So last year we were able to raise like $28,000, and then Dave Mortosh doubled it. So wow. My little tiny golf outing that we would have been happy to make $7,000-8,000 the first year for the organization, is now making organizations $15,000 to $18,000 and more.
I'll tell you what, that Manakiki golf course is a really great course too. I was out there last year. Now, let me tell you, I had a great time going out there and seeing Travis Mills and everything. But the really weird part for me last year, and not to sound bad or anything, but I was in a wheelchair still. And so I was missing a leg still. I didn't even have like a prosthetic yet. And so I'm sitting next to Travis Mills, and there's cameras all over the place. I'm holding an American flag for Travis and all this kind of stuff. And I got no leg. So now I'm being surrounded by all these people that are going, hey, man, thank you for your service. I appreciate you and everything. I'm like, no, it wasn't. I'm an idiot radio guy that unfortunately stepped on a nail and ended up losing my leg because I'm an ass. But, these are real heroes that are here, but thank you for coming out to the golf outing. Right. But what you do is, like, really, really cool. And I'm looking forward to seeing it again this year. That course is really, really nice. And I know a bunch of those guys that came out last year. They are blue-collar, and they are super cool guys. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good time. And like you said about last year, that was a really – every year it's just special. But last year was cool, having that hero's welcome for Travis Mills. We had, 70 veteran bikers that picked him up that morning, along with, I think we had about 50 police cars. So every area police department sent a cruiser or three. And what a way to give back to a true hero. And, in regards to the golf outing and Tia and Mickey Kozlovich, they're from Menor here. Every year now they give back, and they have they cook the Thanksgiving dinner for everybody in the house on Thanksgiving. And they're just so giving and loving. And that's the kind of people that, and that's, to go back to your question, why do I do that? I love being inspired. And when I'm inspired, it just makes me want to do more for people like that.
Right on. Well, Jeff, let me ask you about the business of the funeral business itself. And I have a little bit of experience in it. And not just because my father passed, I went to a funeral home, but I worked in that business for a very short time. And I'll tell you, this is where I have a different appreciation than a lot of people. You guys have to deal with every emotion known to man that most of us might deal with once or twice in our lifetime. You have to deal with whole families that are at probably the lowest point. You have to soothe them. You have to keep a toughness about yourself, to not get emotional or attached but not feel cold either. I mean, I did it for 3 months. I worked over at CSI, which I'm sure you're aware of. And I had to quit. I couldn't get it through my head to disconnect, you know what I mean? And just kind of leave it. How is it that you are not so much able to disconnect from what your, what the actual job is, but to keep such a demeanor so that people going through the hardest time of their lives feel welcomed and feel, don't feel alienated or alone, because that's what they're fighting, is that alienation and that aloneness from losing a loved one.
Yeah, that's a great question. Until you kind of are around the business, so my dad was a funeral director, and his dad, I'm a fifth generation. So my great grandfather was a funeral director, and we've been in Cleveland for, they were there in 1892 is when they started the business.
Oh, wow.
And before that, they were a furniture store. That's the original funeral homes were furniture stores. But dealing with grief is it's horrific. I just try to listen to people. Like I used to listen to my grandfather, make arrangements, and it wasn't always what he said, but how he listened. And he listened to the family instead of so if you can have a good ear instead of just talk, that people can sense that you actually are listening and you care about where they've been up until that point. That's what I try to do as a funeral director, without making the arrangement take 3 hours.
Sure.
I try to understand where they, where they were before they came to me with their loved one. And then once they get into my care, just getting them through that situation, and giving a whether it's direct cremation or it's a burial or they do the full blown out everything. What can we do to celebrate? What can we do to memorialize that person's life? Take a minute, because a lot of times we don't take a lot of time to do much anymore. But what can we do for the next few days to remember that person and not feel so cold, like you said, like be able to laugh and cry and hug and shake hands and rally around this family who's going through, like you said, sometimes the worst times in their life.
Right.
It's an honor for me to do that. And if you get cold to that part of it, you shouldn't be a funeral director.
Right.
All right. I want to, first of all, I want to say I put the link to the golf outing in the comments. So if anybody wants to donate, wants to be part of it, the link is in the comments.
Thank you, Seth.
It's a really long link, but I did put it there.
And we'll put it out on the socials as well. So
yeah, we'll put it out there as well. But one thing I do want to ask, on the spiritual side of things, you talked about praying to God and finding to lead you towards what you're doing with the golf outing. Now, I remember when my mom passed away almost 20 years ago. She didn't look like the same mom that I knew the day before after she had passed. It looked like there was a soul that was taken out of her when she was gone. And so is there a spiritual side to this? Do you see that when you deal with this on a day-to-day basis? It seems there has to be a spiritual side to this.
Yeah, so as far as like her soul leaving her body, is that what you're asking?
Well, it just looked, she didn't look like the same life that she had. It looked like there was something missing from her. And so, do you deal with it? People that believe in God or people that don't believe in God? How does that work?
Oh, yeah. I don't push anything on anybody. I'm not a holy roller. I don't try to tell people which way they should go and which way they shouldn't. So whatever the people want to do, we have services where they're non-denominational. I always think it's nice to have a minister, even if it's they're not Catholic or Protestant or Lutheran, whatever they might be, to just have somebody. But if they don't want that either, then that's okay. So sometimes we have services. They have a celebration of life at a bar, or they have it at their favorite restaurant, or but as far as the way are you asking too about the way the person looks, like the way your mom looked?
Well, I don't know. I don't know how you feel about it. How do you personally feel? Do you feel like there's something missing when somebody dies? It doesn't just look like the same person to me. It didn't look like, it looked like there was something there that is not.
I think that's because you knew your mom alive.
Yeah, but I think that's it. I look at that all the time. When I go to like a funeral or something like that, it looks like there's just an essence, a soul, or something to me that is missing. That makes my faith in God even stronger, because it looks to me like there isn't. It's not the same to me when somebody passes, and I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's the more you go to funerals and the more you the more you're around that ritual of looking at the person that's passed away in the casket, there's a different feel to it, especially if you've been on that other side where your mom passed away, so you got to feel how that feels, to where if you had never had lost your mom and had been going to visitations, that would be a completely different feel, and an understanding for the friend that you went there to visit. As far as the way they look, my job is one of the most important parts of my job is to make sure that your mom looks as good as she can. If for some reason she passed away because of, maybe her liver shut down or something happened and she's jaundiced, then I would let you know that it doesn't look like mom,
Right.
and I would maybe even ask you if you want to close the casket if it doesn't look like her. But I do everything I can. I treat your mom just as if it was my mom, and that's the honest truth. And you can ask anybody that's dealt with me how much I care about that presentation to the family.
And that's why you're successful at it.
Thank you.
How do people get a hold of you? Are people dying to get in?
Well, they can call me. I give my cell phone right out, the 440-339-7023. They can go to jeffmonrealfuneralhome.com. I have my funeral homes in Painesville, and then I use other facilities in Menor and in Willoughby, and all around the surrounding area. I go to the west side if people need me to come out there. I cremate dogs and cats, and
oh wow.
If somebody loses their animal, I go to their house, and even if it's at 3 a.m, I'm a funeral director, and I actually go out there myself and care for people's pets. And that, people love their animals.
Mm-hmm.
So I do that as well.
I'll tell everybody about the golf outing once again, when and where, and if they want to donate, I'll put the link up again. So.
Okay, so it's going to be Friday, July 28th. The golf outing starts at 9. 8 o'clock is the registration. We have a steak dinner. It's at Manakiki Golf Course in Willoughby Hills. I only have a few spots left for the golf outing itself. That I was kind of leaving to Tia and Mickey Kozlovich if they had anybody, but I could probably still fit somebody in if they want to help. If you just want to do a whole sponsorship, or maybe you just want to donate $25, $5, it doesn't matter. We get all kinds of donations. Go to that link, and then if you go to that link, then we can actually track it. And again, this is for the Ronald McDonald House here in Cleveland. It's going to be for the Cleveland House. Specifically.
Excellent.
Fantastic. Well, Jeff, I appreciate you coming on tonight, man.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm looking forward to actually coming out there. I'm going to try to drive a golf cart.
We'll have a cart gassed up ready for you.
Because I'm assuming I can do it with like my left leg, because you can kind of sit where you want.
Bring your partner. He can come and he can drive.
All right, Chris, you and I can drive around all over.
Or you can step on the gas.
Yeah, there we go.
And the brake.
I'll provide that leg for you.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it, though. I'm looking forward to seeing you out there, and looking forward to seeing everybody out there having a good time golfing and making some money for the Ronald McDonald House. So thank you, man.
Thanks, Jeff.
Guys. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
I think that's cool. I
do too. Yeah, that was great. I mean, it's a great cause. That's the bottom line. Is look, anybody's doing anything on a charitable level, they're okay with me, because there's not enough people doing enough charity, which is part of the problem we have. You show 9 million TikTok videos of people being selfish jagoffs. It's great to see somebody actually doing good things.
Yeah, and it's a class act when you go out there. I mean, again, I went there last year for the Travis Mills one, and it was very cool. People had a lot of fun, and unfortunately, I couldn't do anything because it's kind of hilly out there.
Right.
And I was in a wheelchair. There were a couple times where I was slightly concerned about which direction I was going to be heading.
Right. But you should be able to drive. It's been a million years since I drove a golf cart. Isn't it all backwards to where you could use your other leg?
Yeah, I think I could actually do a golf cart. Because the bench is just one big bench.
Yeah, you just sit on the other side or straddle the middle or whatever.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
Yeah, there you go.